A manhunt is ongoing to catch Vance Boelter, the man who police say is a suspect in the shooting of two Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota on Saturday.
Now, Vance Boelter and his wife have a home in Green Isle in Sibley County, west of the metro. Chopper 5 was over that home today as armored vehicles moved in.
Folks, we have some breaking bombshell updates about the manhunt for Vance Boelter, the man who assassinated Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota yesterday. His wife was just stopped with a gun, cash, and passports in hand. We have more on that coming up. But first, there is damning new social media footage and footage from Boelter's own best friend and roommate that finally put to bed, as we talked about yesterday, the MAGA conspiracies that this was a left-wing lunatic. It was not, in fact. Take a look at these.
Flyers for anti-Trump protests were also said to be found. Boelter has worked as a director for a private armed security service, according to the company's webpage. The firm was registered to Boelter's home address and listed a woman who appears to be his wife as president and CEO. She did not respond to messages from CNN. Elsewhere, records show that Boelter served on a state board with Senator Hoffman, one of the victims who survived. In 2019, Governor Tim Walz put Boelter on the Governor's Workforce Development Board, a group of business owners who recommend policies to the state government.
I feel the presence of the Lord in this place.
Présence de Dieu en ces lieux.
Could you pray with me, please?
According to video and social media posts reviewed by CNN, Boelter is an outspoken evangelical Christian who traveled to Africa and was critical of LGBTQ rights.
And we'll touch more on his wife being detained in a second, but now we are getting bombshell reporting from his best friend and roommate. He apparently was renting a room at this place, as we'll see, and SWAT troops stormed the home and talked to his former roommate, and this is what he had to say.
And we have also learned Boelter rented a room at a house in Minneapolis.
Yeah, you know, David Carlson tells me that he has known Boelter since they were kids. They grew up over in Sleepy Eye together, and this is also one of the locations that law enforcement swarmed today during this massive manhunt. We saw police showing up earlier this afternoon with a search warrant and a SWAT team. There's a neighbor I spoke to who captured this video of the officers pulling the front door off the home with an armored vehicle. You can see police with vests and helmets, guns pointed at the house. Now, at this point, they didn't know if he was here, which is why they came and showed up the way that they did. That SWAT team also showed up at the house after Boelter's roommate called 911. He received a pair of alarming text messages from him just after 6 a.m. that he recounted for us earlier today.
Maybe dead shortly. So I just want to let you know I love you guys both, and I wish it hadn't gone this way. I don't want to say anything more and implicate you in any way, because you guys don't know anything about this. But I love you guys, and I'm sorry for all the trouble this has caused. He was a loving, caring guy, you know, loved his family, loved his friends, and loved God, and I don't know why he did what he did. It's not Vance. No one will believe this. No one that grew up. He had lots of friends, trust me. And I wish I could have been there to stop him.
David Carlson could not walk out with any book that he was talking about, and that was because police had already come and gone, and they had taken a lot of his items, presumably as evidence. And you can see some people walking inside right now as we speak here. We even asked about Mr. Boelter's political affiliations, and David Carlson, once again his roommate and best friend, known him since 4th grade, did say Boelter voted for Trump and that he was a strong supporter, but he hasn't really talked about politics lately. And from what his friend knew, he had no idea that Boelter was interested at all in local or state lawmakers as well. His friend didn't even know the names of the lawmakers who were attacked.
That's right, folks. He was a fervent Trump supporter. But still, prominent voices on the far right, including Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, Mike Cernovich, and even U.S. Senator Mike Lee, have pushed a conspiracy theory suggesting the killer was somehow motivated by left-wing right-wing grievance. And this was completely dispelled by Tim Miller of The Bulwark as well.
I'm reluctant. I was reluctant to come back on to do this, to talk about what is happening in the dialogue in the far right fever swamps, talking about these assassination attempts. But it has bubbled up to such prominent accounts that I feel like it must be addressed. And that is that we are seeing from MAGA Republicans, from influential right-wing accounts, and the advancement of a notion that this assassin, or the suspect, was a Democrat of some kind and was unhappy with his fellow Democrats because I guess in Minnesota they just passed a bill, or they failed to pass a bill rather, that would have given health care to undocumented immigrants, and some Democrats, including the deceased, had voted with Republicans on that bill. And so I guess that is the theory of the case. It is horrific and preposterous, and speaks to a very dark heart that we are seeing this from the right. That immediately the reaction to this tragedy is to advance a lie and a conspiracy to try to win some political battle and some imaginary, never-ending Twitter war that they're in with the left. We have Elon Musk himself, the owner of Twitter and the former shadow president. He posted, "The far left is murderously violent." This is in response to a tweet that lists a couple of different shootings recently, including Luigi Mangione, and lumps in with that this killing of the Minnesota state rep. The post he's replying to says the left has become a full-blown domestic terror organization. So that's what Elon Musk is putting out there. You have Charlie Kirk, one of many people who are blaming this on Tim Walz, I guess because Tim Walz had appointed this man to some nonpartisan board in Minnesota. Charlie Kirk says, "Total shocker that smearing a duly elected president who won an overwhelming electoral mandate as a fascist leads to violent political radicalization." I don't even know how you get your head there. But the Charlie Kirk thing is downright mild compared to what we're seeing in other corners of the internet. Mike Cernovich, again, you might think this is a random person. He has 1.4 million followers, was an early Trump endorser. He posted this: "Did Tim Walz activate an assassin against a political rival who voted against him, who voted against his, I think is what he meant to say, their plan to give illegal immigrants free health care?" No, would be my answer to Mike Cernovich on that. Tim Walz did not activate an assassin against a political rival. These brain worms are burrowed so deep that it's how do you live in a society where this stuff is being promulgated? And we also had a sitting U.S. senator advancing this lie. Here is Senator Mike Lee. Yeah, that's his real Twitter account. It says based Mike Lee. That's the world we're in right now, where a U.S. senator has like a troll account where he describes himself as based.
Absolutely heinous and untruthful accusations from those on the MAGA right, and this coming as the assassin's wife was just stopped with a gun, cash, and passports. And get this, Jenny Belter was stopped by officers in Onamia, Minnesota around 10 a.m. on Saturday. And so the manhunt is still obviously ongoing, and we will be getting updates, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. But this was a man with a family. He had children, he had a wife, he had friends, and he was an evangelical Christian and a Trump supporter to boot. And yet, still, we have those on the MAGA right trying to push this insane narrative for their own political gain. I said yesterday in the video that I don't care about political affiliation when it comes to political violence. Even if this guy was on the left, it would be absolutely heinous and condemnable. But yet again, it's another white man, another MAGA lunatic, another Trump supporter, another person who probably listened to all the violent rhetoric and then took matters into his own hands. And so I say again, despite anything you may hear from Donald Trump or those on the right, the blood here falls squarely at their feet. The blame is theirs, but they will never admit it. So we need to make sure that everyone hears this loud and clear. Thank you all for watching and for listening, and to all of those of you new to us who joined in recent days and those from the video yesterday, thank you so much for all of your kind words and support. I will have another video coming out shortly about the protests and Donald Trump's military parade and how embarrassing and humiliating that was, but I wanted to get you these updates first. I actually went to a No Kings protest here in Los Angeles. It was entirely peaceful. It was a great time, and there is so much to be cheerful about when you see the love and passion that was in these protests. And that is the spirit of the left, of Democrats, of progressives, of people with empathy. And so my next video will be a more cheerful one, highlighting those elements, as well as Donald Trump's humiliating military parade. So if you made it this far, thank you again, and drop a blue heart, a comment, a like, just to get out that love and support, and to fight back and get the hate of these people out of our country and out of our world, frankly. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. I'll see you in the next one.